My name is Ashley Bellino, and I'm here to talk about teacher tenure. Due to tenure, districts have been known to spend $100,000 to $200,000 in litigation costs just to get rid of a bad teacher. Tenure is a policy that was made in order to protect tenured teachers from being unfairly fired from school administration. It was created for a good cause, but it is actually causing the teachers to not work as hard, which is having a negative impact on student performance. I'm currently going to school to be an elementary school teacher, and I have spent many class periods talking with some of my educational college professors about the negative impacts of tenure, and they've actually given me many examples of actual teachers in their school districts. I also have many examples while I'm actually going to school. I actually went to school and during my school hours, and I've witnessed many negative impacts on teacher tenure. The main points I'm going to cover today are the aspects of tenure, the problems of tenure, and my opinion for a resolution to the problem of tenure. What is tenure? Like stated before, tenure protects tenured teachers from being unfairly fired or replaced by school administration's family or friends. Once received, it becomes very, very difficult, almost impossible for administration or a district to fire a bad teacher. In today's schools, many teachers are actually receiving tenure even before they've reached their tenure mark, which is based on high performance levels. I'm now going to read a quote. Academic tenure refers to a policy which gives professors and teachers a permanent contract, effectively ensuring them a guarantee of employment for life. Teachers that have tenure cannot be fired unless for just cause, such as severe misconduct or incompetence. Even then, cutting through the red tape can be extremely, extremely difficult. Now that we've talked about some of what tenure is, I'm going to move on to the problems with tenure. Once a teacher receives tenure, the majority of teachers lose interest in trying to be successful at their jobs. They no longer feel the need to try and impress or satisfy school administrators because they are guaranteed a job for life, so they don't feel that need anymore. I'm going to ask you as a question, and I want you to be honest. Have you guys ever not done something because you knew that your teacher, boss, parent, or coach wasn't going to check to make sure that it was done correctly? Okay, I figured. Okay, and once received, it becomes nearly impossible for administration to fire that teacher. Really doesn't matter on how bad they're doing. They just don't want to spend the time or the money. I'm going to read another quote. Teacher tenure makes it virtually impossible to fire bad teachers. According to a recent study by the New Teacher Project, even though 81% of administrators say there is a tenured teacher in their school district who is performing poorly, at least half of the districts studied failed to dismiss any tenured teachers for poor performance in the 2 to 5 years the study took place. That's because getting rid of teachers with tenure can involve years of review and bureaucratic hurdles and can cost tens of thousands of dollars per teacher. Last semester, I had a college professor. Her name was Linda McCarty, and she was a school administrator for many, many, many years. Her husband is also currently a school superintendent for a school in Colorado Springs. This was just one of her examples. She had actually a teacher who would just, once he was tenured, he would just leave throughout the day. He would pawn his students on the other teacher in that grade and would honestly just up and leave to go home and do laundry. He would take 2-hour lunches anytime throughout the day that he wanted. It didn't matter how many times she addressed him, he just continued to do it. She said this was very sad because he used to actually be one of their best teachers in the district until he was tenured, and then he honestly just lost all of his want to be there. I also have one of my own experiences with a tenured teacher. It's actually while I was in high school, and middle school. I had this teacher in many different classrooms. Administration had to keep moving this teacher all around, from art classes to English classes up to the high school to substituting, because actually she just continued to not do her job and caused many, many issues with multiple students and parents. This teacher would actually get so upset that she would just leave the classroom and leave students unattended, like honestly leave the building. And they, like I said, they couldn't get rid of her because she was on a tenured contract. or else it would have been done a long time ago. And actually, I think she's still currently there. I'm going to read another quote. Teachers are not properly evaluated before being granted tenure. Less than 1% of teachers evaluated were found to be unsatisfactory. According to the TNTP study, many states have set the bar far too low for the achievement of tenure, says Janelle Allen, president of the Center for Education Reform. It is no longer based, in most cases, on teacher effectiveness, but instead on a teacher's length of service. With tenure being granted after only a few years, some teachers may not have the chance to even show their worth. This tenure is not only just an annoying process for, people that work in the school district, but it's also reflecting poorly on student success. Teachers are supposed to be a role model to these students, somebody that they look up to. So when teachers don't show any interest in what they're teaching, students lose all interest in trying to learn that subject. They also start to agree that really the subject's just boring or pointless because that's how the teacher acts. I'm sure everybody's had a fun teacher and they've made some sort of assignment really fun, and then it gets the kids really involved and it actually makes something really boring be really interesting. So that's what students need, in my opinion. I'm now going to read another quote. A growing body of research shows that student achievement is more heavily influenced by teacher quality than by students' race, class, prior academic record, or school a student attends. This effect is particularly strong among students from low-income families and African American students. The benefits associated with being taught by good teachers are cumulative. Research indicates that the achievement gap widens each year between students with most effective teachers and those with least effective teachers. This suggests that the most significant gains in student achievement will likely be realized when students receive instruction from good teachers over consecutive years. And when bad teachers aren't fired, students and parents start to believe that administration just doesn't care what's best for them. I believe this because, honestly, when you're a student, if you have poor performance levels or you don't do your job, then you're going to get punished, so why shouldn't teachers be held to that same level? I got a little picture on here. It's a teacher at his desk. It says, "You can't fire me, I have tenure." Like stated before, tenure was honestly created for a good cause, and I don't think that, when it was created that they meant for it to have these negative impacts. So I don't honestly believe that tenure should be completely just cut out and gotten rid of, but I believe that some modifications need to be made. So I'm now going to talk about solving the tenure problem. This is just one of my ideas. I believe that every teacher, including teachers with tenure, should be strongly evaluated every year based on his or her performance. I also believe that tenured teachers should not be able to be replaced due to cuts or other district issues, only if the teacher is honestly performing poorly. Another idea is that the process of firing a tenured teacher should not be such a timely and costly effort. I believe that the majority of school administration or board members agree that a tenured teacher should be fired with actual evidence and reasoning, then this should be done. I also believe there should be like a sort of warning policy. So after receiving a certain amount, that teacher would be fired. So it wouldn't just be unfair, and you don't get any warnings. Somebody can talk to you, and you get however many that school district decides before actually being fired. I'm now going to read a quote. Many people view changes to teacher tenure as a choice between two extremes: keep existing laws exactly as they are, or get rid of tenure entirely. We think that's a false choice. And then here were some of the ideas that they actually gave. One of them was to lengthen the tryout period and tie tenure to performance. Teachers should become eligible for tenure after 5 years, and they should receive it on the basis of their success in the classroom. Another idea that they gave was hearings should be more efficient and focused on students' interests. The entire dismissal appeals process should take no more than 90 days, with hearings lasting just 1 day. So like I kind of said, shouldn't be so lengthy and timely to get rid of a bad teacher. Conclusion. By making a few revisions to tenure, I believe that it will not only better teacher performance, but student success as well. If the problems with teacher tenure are not resolved, it will continue to get worse and will keep having a negative impact on student performance. Our students deserve the best education that they can receive, and by resolving the teacher tenure problem, I believe that they will receive this. I went with this quote that I believe shows how many schools around the United States are seeing how teacher tenure is having a negative impact on school districts and how they're taking different actions in order to better that district. I believe this shows how tenure can be revised in certain ways to better a district without just completely getting rid of it. Some states and school districts are beginning to turn to merit-based models for tenure and pay. New York's Mayor Bloomberg announced that beginning this year, only teachers rated effective or highly effective will be eligible for tenure. Last year, D.C. Schools Chancellor Michelle Ray negotiated a union contract that weakened teacher tenure in favor of higher salaries and bonuses up front. Increasingly, accountability, merit-based rewards are becoming the catchphrases of the teacher tenure question. And then here are all my references that I actually used and received my quotes and statistics from. And that's it. Thank you.